And we're recording. Hey guys, I'm Trevor with the Dudes in Film podcast. Thank you for listening. Today, Matthew is not with me because he is going to be out for probably a good portion of the summer, but I didn't want to let you guys down, so I thought I'd record something myself and see what happens. I do better with conversation, but wanted to release something anyway. So, movies have basically been, you know, not going on for this whole year, at least a good portion of it, starting in like March. And movie theaters are finally starting to open up. We're finally seeing a lot of new dates for movies and for re-releases of the movies that got pushed back. Some of them are getting pushed back till next year, but then some of them are just getting pushed back into later months. So I kind of wanted to just go down the list, talk about some of the movies that I'm more excited for, movies that I want to see. So I just basically wanted to go down the list and look at the movies that are coming out this year after all, and just talk about the ones that I'm excited to see and why I'm looking forward to seeing them. These are not going to be in any particular order as far as like ones that I'm most excited for, anything like that. But I'm just going to go by like month to month and maybe pick out one or two movies from that month if there is any coming out and talk about that movie maybe a little bit. So coming up in July, there's not a lot of movies coming up in the net, like in June. Summer's kind of a dead spot for most movies anyway, especially with the Marvel movies, or not really a huge Marvel movie coming out because those usually come out in April, May. This month's a little bit dead, it seems like, but coming out in July, Mulan is coming out. I like the Mulan cartoon fine, but I think I'm gonna like the live action a little bit better. To me, it's a movie that seems like it should be a live action movie. I love that they got a cast that is all basically fitting to the area that they're in, which is great. It's how you should cast movies. There's a lot of examples of movies out there where they don't cast, the right ethnic group for the movie they're filming, and it comes out a little bit awkward. But this is supposed to be a little bit more of a serious take on the movie too. Disney's been doing that with a lot of them. I mean, especially with like Lion King, they tried to make the animals look more serious, which I don't think worked out. But I think for Mulan, I think it's going to be great because it's going to have a great cast. Disney's usually pretty good with casting, and I think that a more serious take on Mulan will actually work really well for it, just given the type of movie it is. So definitely excited for Mulan. Definitely going to go see that one in theaters. Hopefully it's good. I'll talk about it when it comes out. August is really the next one that I'm excited for. We got Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman got pushed back as well. It's coming out August 12th now. Wonder Woman 1984 is the title for it, not Wonder Woman 2. So I'm excited for this movie. I think the first Wonder Woman movie was awesome. They did a very good job with writing a female lead in a comic book character that wasn't like over sexualized, which I think is great. There's a lot of comic book movies out there where they base it off of a comic book and the whole movie is basically just based on that the main character is a female, and it gets kind of awkward at times. I mean, Catwoman is, I think, a good example of it, where it's the main lead. Was it Jennifer Lopez? I think did that one. Like they just basically push on the fact that, oh yeah, it's a hot female actor and we're just trying to make her look as good as we can and write a very bad story because people will watch it basically because there's a female in it. And Barbed Wire is another good example of that. So, no, it's a Dark Horse comic called Barbed Wire. I've never read the comic before. I mean, the title, if you look it up on Wikipedia, the opening description of the movie literally says a sexy nightclub owner. And basically it's just Pamela Anderson wearing a super skimpy outfit, and it's not a good movie. I can't really remember much of what happens because it was not that good of a movie. Pamela Anderson isn't necessarily a super great actor either, so it's just not super convincing. The script is kind of all over the place. It's not a good movie. It came out in 1996. It's got a really bad Rotten Tomatoes score, a really bad audience score. Would not recommend it, but it's basically like the whole idea of them releasing the movie was basically, I felt like they only made the movie because they had a attractive female lead and that they just wanted to show her off, like not even anything else of the movie. So that is what I really appreciate Wonder Woman for not doing, is they made a movie with an appealing character that they don't just make it about the way she looks and how she dresses or anything like that. It's actually a convincing movie where, she's actually like a tough, just superhero, tough chick that can just, beat up all the bad guys. And I really appreciate that they give her a true superhero treatment, I think, like they would give, any of the other superheroes like Batman or Superman or something like that, where they actually give the person a personality and they make it more than just about what the character looks like, which I love. So I'm excited for Wonder Woman 1984. I really hope that it, comes out on top again, and it'll probably be one of the better DC movies in my opinion that's come out in a while. I'm not really a fan of the newer DC movies that much myself. Justice League was okay, and Aquaman I still have yet to see. For some reason, I haven't gotten around to watching it yet. I've heard that one is good too, though. Yeah, looking forward to it. I can't wait. I hope that it's really good, and I hope that Wonder Woman continues to dominate the market as well, because I think it's really good for women to have a good woman character that is actually like seems like a good role model instead of like the one from Barbed Wire or like Catwoman, who like there just isn't a lot of character there. It feels like August 12th this year. I'm definitely going to be there to go see that. And then also coming out in August is Bill and Ted Face the Music. This movie looks like a third movie. This movie looks like a third movie, as much as I can say. Like, I'm a fan of the first two Bill and Ted movies. The first one is the best film, in my opinion. But the second one's good as well. The third one, I'm sure, will be fine. I don't think it's going to be... I don't have high expectations for it to be as good as the first one, but I am expecting it to be funny enough. I mean, this is the first movie that I've seen Keanu Reeves in recently. I think Matrix 4 is coming out now, apparently, that he's going to be doing. I don't know. These movies are just fun and silly. Like, it's nice to have a movie come out during the year where it's not all just superhero action movies, and nice to have like a good comedy movie that's coming out, I guess. Because I like to laugh. I love movies that can make me laugh or shows that make me laugh. So anything that has that kind of silly comedy, I'm all for. Bill and Ted Face the Music comes out August 20th, and the trailer just dropped for it, and it looks interesting, to say the least. I mean, it's like, 30 years since the last movies came out, so they're kind of old now. Something that we're seeing a lot with these common movies, but hey, whatever. I'm for it. And then this one we've talked about several times. A Quiet Place 2. It was supposed to come out in March, and the weekend it was supposed to come out is when all the movie theaters closed down. So it was really a bummer for me because I was looking forward to this movie so much, and now I just have to wait even longer for this movie to come out. I just feel like I can't get a break because I've been waiting for this movie. When it comes out, September 3rd now is the new date for it. I love the first A Quiet Place. It was a great movie. My only concern with A Quiet Place 2 is that there was never supposed to be a number 2 movie. And that's the case with a lot of movies that come out. As a movie becomes really successful, so they make a second one. So that being said, I really hope that this movie goes into a lot of the backstory of maybe why the creatures are there. Maybe not like a lot of backstory, but I hope there's a little bit more backstory and narrative as to maybe why the creatures are there or how they came to Earth or what. And then goes into depth about like what happens after as well. And I hope that if this movie is successful, my hope is that it doesn't get run into the ground like movies like Saw did, because it's great to have a nice horror movie franchise that's kind of newer, or I guess it's more of a suspense kind of movie. But it's nice to have these type of movies come out that don't just keep making them over and over and over again, because then eventually just like the name gets tarnished and it just comes out like you don't want to talk about that movie franchise anymore. So I really hope that this movie just stays pure and good, and I hope they end the series. If they make a third movie, I hope they end it on a note that feels good without running it into the ground. That's my only concern for it. Other than that, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great movie. I will definitely go see this one in theaters 100%. I am there probably opening weekend. I am now I'm going to jump into October. October is obviously a big movie for some horror movies and stuff like that. But, I don't really even see that many horror movies coming out in October. I don't really see a lot of horror movies coming out. I mean, we have Rambo coming out, which I didn't even realize they were making another one. But it looks like it's just called Rambo. Um, then there's a Snake Eyes movie coming out, which is GI Joe, a GI Joe movie, which I thought they were done making those, but apparently they're making a single movie just on Snake Eyes, which I guess is dope. If you like, it's probably gonna have good action, very ninja flips and stuff like that. Um, but the only movie that I'm really seeing that's sticking out to me that I will probably go see by myself, or maybe with a friend or something, is Halloween Kills. So Halloween Kills is going to be the third movie in the series, because Halloween that came out in 2018, I think it was 2018, was a sequel to Halloween that came out years ago. So then the Halloween Kills is going to be a sequel to the newer Halloween movie. So this is the third one in the series. It follows Halloween 2018. None of the other Halloween movies, because this is a confusing timeline series apparently. So for anybody who doesn't know, there's like tons of Halloween movies. I can't even tell you all of them. But there's Halloween, and there's like Halloween 2 and 3 that came out, years ago. Well, Halloween 2 just came out in 2018, but it was just called Halloween. It wasn't even called Halloween 2. It was just called Halloween, which is a sequel to Halloween. And basically, it axed all of the old canon movies for the Halloween series, and so it takes place like 30 years later. All the other movies that happen after the original Halloween movie, it doesn't follow any of those stories. It has nothing to do with those. This is a new original sequel with the same characters. It's a weird franchise. I'm excited to see it though. I love how Halloween 2018. I thought it was a really good movie. It had the suspense of the old Halloween movie. There's a little bit of weirdness with like the therapist dude was kind of weird, but for the most part, I thought it was a great movie. It ended on a classic Halloween note with Michael Myers just disappearing, like how every Halloween movie ends. And Halloween Kills is going to come out. I'm sure it's going to be very similar. I'm excited to see it. Comes out in October, and that's like the only Halloweenish like horror movie coming out in October that I really see that like I'm excited for. There might be more, but I'm not really seeing anything. If something else is coming out that maybe I missed in October, or like maybe another big horror movie, let me know, because I don't. I'm looking at a list right now, and I do not see really any like movies of any horror movies or any suspense movies that come out around that time, which is kind of upsetting. It's usually like October is the time to watch those movies and go see those movies in theaters. And then coming out for November. Now this is probably, I know I talked a lot about A Quiet Place 2 before on this podcast and how I'm ready to see it. I want to see it. I'm excited for it. But the one movie that I think is probably my movie of the year, that if I could pick one movie to watch for this whole year, this is the movie I would pick. And it's Godzilla versus Kong. It's probably, which is probably not on a lot of people's list. I mean, I think enough people see it for them, obviously, to make another one. But I don't think it's going to be like a killer box office, winning movie, especially since it comes out the weekend after No Time to Die. So I feel like James Bond is going to be on the top of the charts, because I feel like James Bond is a little bit more popular than Godzilla. Could be wrong. I hope Godzilla does better than James Bond. I think that'd be really cool. Which I might go see James Bond 2. Kind of on the fence about that. But Godzilla vs. Kong, I've been excited for this movie since it was announced in, I don't know, like 2017, 2018. And I have just wanted to see this movie ever since. Godzilla King of the Monsters came out last year. I thought it's a great movie. I love it. And then I watched Kong again because I needed to rewatch it just to recap on what happens. And Kong and Godzilla are both just like, when you watch it, they're both the king of the beast. There's a lot of debate going on about who would win and who won't win, and people's predictions. Godzilla is a lot taller than King Kong. King Kong has a little bit more, he's smarter, he's more agile, he's got more weapons and stuff like that, but then Godzilla's skin is basically impenetrable. So I think it's going to be a great movie. It comes out in November 18th this year. I'm excited for it. One thing that I hope they do is with King Kong, or with Kong Skull Island, one of the things that they did is a lot of the movie takes place during the day. And this really helped you be able to see the creatures more, especially when a movie is highly animated like this one. 'Cause they do both animated stuff, but then they're also, with these movies, they've also been trying to stick to the roots and do a lot more of practical effects as well. Like Godzilla was, in the original Godzilla movie that came out in like 2017, the newer one, I shouldn't say the original, but it was a lot of practical effects that they actually used for it. So they're doing a little bit of both of practical effects and CGI. So what I'm really hoping with this movie is that I don't like with Godzilla is that the whole movie in Godzilla took place at night, which is fine. I don't have an issue with things happening at nighttime, but it made it hard to see at some points. Like, I'm sitting there watching the movie, and Godzilla has such a small part in like the first Godzilla movie where it's like you don't really get to see him too much, and in the second movie he's got a bigger part, but at the same time it's like there's just some parts that are so blurry where it's hard to see what's going on. So I really want to see, with Godzilla versus Kong, I really want to see them bring out the battle in the light, like the King Kong movies. I think that it would add a little bit more to how Godzilla looks. I think it would make Godzilla look more intimidating when we actually get to see him during the day. And they've done this in the past as well. I mean, if you watch some old Godzilla movies, not all of them take place at nighttime. A lot of them take place during the day. Just some of them take place during the rain. Like, there's a lot of different things for it. So it's not like Godzilla is a night crawler all the time. You can make a movie happen where Godzilla is, there during the day. It's happened before. I think that's probably the one thing I hope that they fix with this movie, is I hope that they add scenes during the daytime, or maybe even do like half and half. Maybe like half the movie is at nighttime, half the movie is at daytime. I'd even be okay with that, but I just want to see Godzilla in the sunlight for a good portion of the movie, and I want to see the action, and I want to be able to see it clearly without being like, I think I need to rewatch that to see what happens, or without just seeing silhouettes. Super excited for it. Can't wait. This is probably my movie of the year, and I will be reviewing that one when it comes out for sure, because I am excited for Godzilla. And one of the last movies that I don't know if I'm super interested in this movie, but I know it's going to be a big movie of the year, so I figured I'd talk about it. But Top Gun Maverick. I'm not a huge Top Gun fan. I know a few people who love the Top Gun movies, which is fine. It's not for me. I do love the soundtrack, but Top Gun Maverick's coming out. I don't know. It's just one of those movies that, to me, feels forced. Like they're just forcing a sequel on you that nobody really asked for. If you're excited for this movie, that's fine. I'm not really super excited for it. I'm not excited for it either. Like, I'll definitely check it out. If I don't go see it in theaters, I'll definitely watch it when it comes out. But it's not on my list of like, I need to go see this movie. I can definitely wait if I have to, but Top Gun Mavericks comes out. I'm sure it's going to be a big movie. Comes out in December, and that's really like, I think the only big movie that comes out in December. It comes out right before Christmas, so that's like really the only big movie that is coming out that will potentially, decent amount in December. Other than that, that's basically all I'm ready for. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of movies this year. It's also been a very interesting year just for movies in general. So let me know what movies you're interested in below. If there's any that, maybe I missed that you want to talk about. Maybe if there's another movie that isn't, a top box office movie that even you're excited for. I would love to talk about it with you. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow us on social media, on all that stuff. I'll leave all the links in the description below. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.